Culture shapes how we connect, not just through what we say, but how we say it. This is something that my English teacher in high school used to often tell me. Communication isn't just about words. It's about tone, body language, and even silence. Hello everyone, my name is Anna Maya, and today I want to talk about two cultures that might seem very different, Colombian culture and deaf culture, and show how surprisingly they have quite a bit in common. First, I'll be breaking down 3 key differences, and then 3 key similarities, and finally I'll connect everything with 3 major communication theories. But one question you may be asking is that why does this matter to you? And the best answer I can give you is that the more you understand about cultures outside of your own, the better you get at communicating. And honestly, the more empathetic you become. And we can all use more of that. First, let's start with the differences. First up is language. Colombians speak Spanish, of course. It's rich, it's emotional, and it's full of rhythm. Deaf individuals in the US typically use American Sign Language, or also known as ASL. And it's not just about hand gestures. The National Institute on Deafness said in a 2020 article that ASL is a complete language full of its own grammar and syntax. That means it's just as complex and expressive as spoken languages. Second is how each culture experiences the world. Colombian culture is very sound-centered. Music is everywhere. Cumbia, vallenato, salsa, it's loud, it's joyful, and it's part of everyday life. According to a 2021 article by the Colombian Ministry of Culture, music is a huge part of community and identity in Colombia. Meanwhile, deaf culture is visual. Communication happens through movement, facial expression, and body language. You listen through your eyes. Third is how deafness is seen. In deaf culture, many see themselves as part of a linguistic and cultural group, not as someone with a disability. In his book, The Mask of Benevolence, Harlan Lynn explains that deaf people often reject the idea that they need to be fixed. But in a lot of Colombian communities, deafness is still mostly looked in the medical point of view, as something that needs treatment or correction. Now let's look into the similarities. First, both cultures are all about community. Whether it's a neighborhood block party in Colombia or a deaf social gathering, both cultures very much value belonging and close relationships. Psychologist Henry Tafram wrote in the human groups and social categories that people tie their identity to their group that they're a part of, and this absolutely shows up in both cultures. Second, both cultures are extremely expressive. Colombians are known for speaking with a lot of passion, a lot of gestures, tones, and rhythms. Deaf people communicate with powerful facial expressions and body movement. Edward Halls, in his book Beyond Cultures, called this high context communications, where people rely on nonverbal cues and shared understanding, not just words. And third, both communicate with more than just what's spoken or signed. There's a lot of meaning beneath the words. A look, a pause, a tone, all of this carries meanings. Both cultures are rich in indirect communications, and they expect people to read between the lines. All right, let's now start talking about some communication theories. First is high context culture theory by Edward Halls. He says that in some cultures, a lot of meaning is shared through context, not directly stated. This is totally true for both Colombian and deaf culture. Both are heavily reliant on body language, tone, and shared social cues. Second is social identity theory by Henry Tefron. He explains that our group identities, which are cultures and communities, are a big part of how we see ourselves. This helps explains why both Colombians and deaf individuals feel such strong pride in their identity and community. And third is the standpoint theory by Harling. In her book, Whose Silence, Whose Knowledge, she argues that people from marginalized groups have both a unique perspective because of what they've lived experiences. Both deaf communities and many Colombians especially have faced inequality, and both offer a point of view that the rest of the world can learn from. In conclusion, while deaf and Colombian cultures differ in language, sensory experiences, and their view on deafness, they have shared strong community values, expressive ways of community, and appreciation and indirect meaning. In the end, culture isn't just about where you come from or what language you speak. It's about how you connect, how you express yourself, and how you see the world. And when we take the time to understand other cultures, even ones that are very different from our own, we become better listeners, better communicators, and in the end, better people. Thank you for listening.